Hey everyone, we're back for another workout of the day. Today is 4 rounds for time. It's called Gypsy. It is 20 sit-ups, 20 renegade rows, 5 deadlifts, 20 air squats, 20 hollow hold chest presses, and 5 RDLs. So we're gonna go through all of those movements and the modifications, and then you can get started. Okay, so our first movement is gonna be our sit-up. So we're going to want to reach all the way back with our hands, squeezing those abs, come all the way to the top and touch those toes. Modifications would be to the knees. You can do crunches to the shins. But whatever movement you're doing, make sure you're squeezing those abs and engage that core. So the next movement is going to be our renegade row. So an important part of this that I feel like people don't really get is that we want a nice wide base with our feet. That's going to hold, it's going to make it more stable, because what we don't want is our body to be moving. The only thing that should be moving is our arms. So we are going to set up in a push-up position, right? And we want our butt down and our feet wide. And we're going to be pulling with 2 dumbbells. So we don't want to be moving. We want to be squeezing everything. We don't want to be twisting. We don't want our hips to be moving. We want our hips to be parallel at all times. Our butt should be down and everything should be in a nice straight line. Our arms should be in a nice straight line. We want it from up here to here. So our hands should be underneath our shoulder. This is going to support everything nicely. So modifications, we can do shoulder taps, and it's going to be in that same position. Hands underneath us, underneath our shoulders, no movement, nice, slow, controlled. The key to no movement is to really engage that core and squeeze those glutes, and that's going to keep you stable. The other thing we can do is on our knees. So we want to be slightly leaning forward. And again, our shoulders are underneath. Or we can be in a nice table position and squeezing and lifting. We only want to lift to about a 90-degree angle. We don't need to go further. That's also going to twist our body further by doing that. So kneeling or shoulder taps would be modifications. Okay, the next movement is going to be our deadlift. So I'm going to show you with a bar first, and then we can move to the modifications. So we want to step up to the barbell. We want the barbell always to be in and close to us at all times. They should be touching us. We should be friends with the barbell. We're not pushing it away like it is right now. So we want to be about thumb width away from the smooth part with our fingers, right? With our hands. We can hold it in a reverse or mixed grip, which would be one hand facing out, one hand facing in. This allows us to keep the bar steady and stable in our hand without trying to over grip and it rolling out. So we're going to set up. We never want our butt to go below our knee. So our butt is always set above our knee. This is as far as we should be going down. We're going to pull those knees back, and we're going to create a nice straight line with our shins up to our knees. And then as we get to our knees, we're going to pull that barbell in and against our legs, and we're going to start to stand up. And what we're not going to do is at the top do the nice lean. When we do that, you can probably feel that as you're just standing there, that there's that pressure in that lower back. We do not want to create that lower back pressure. We want to be nice and straight so everything is supporting each other. So we're going to pull the barbell close, set up. We're going to push up with our chest. We're going to be looking forward, pulling the barbell in. Our shoulders should be squeezed together and come back down. So again, we want our back to be nice and flat the whole time. We want our chest to be up. So we're leading with our chest up, keeping a nice neutral back. You can squeeze your shoulder blades together as you coming up to ensure that you're keeping that nice, good form. So that's with the barbell. I do understand not everybody has a barbell. So we can also use our kettlebell. And it's going to be that same movement. Just come up, come down. We can also use our dumbbell and do the same. Or if we have bands at home, we can use a nice heavy band for this. We can step right inside that band, holding the band, come straight up. If you're using the band, I suggest you do 10 rather than 5. If you're using the barbell, use a medium to heavy weight, but something you can keep good form for 5 reps. Okay, so the next one is going to be our air squat. Now, as some of you know, I recently had hip surgery, so I'm a little limited here, but I will show you what I can, and then I'll show you the modifications. So we want to be about hip width apart when we set up. We want to be engaging our core. We want to be straight up and down with our chest. Our back should be flat, and our toes should be slightly pointed outward. We want our knees to go out, not forward. So we're going to come down into a nice squat, keeping upright as far as possible. You want to go down to about a 90 degree. Can't show you that right now, but that's where you want to go. And you want to keep those feet flat on the ground. If you find your heels coming up, make sure that you are, one, bringing your knees out instead of forward. So if we bring them forward, it's going to be an automatic roll onto those toes. We don't want that. So keeping our feet slightly pointed outward and our knees coming out, it's going to allow us to come straight up and down. So a modification would be if you have a bench, you can use a bench or a box and just sit to the bench. What I don't want, if you do this, it should just be a light touch onto the bench. Try to avoid sitting all the way down and back. And try to avoid rocking forward. So to avoid rocking forward, think about every time you stand up, just think about pulling those knees back and then your hips forward. And that's going to keep you from rocking if you think of those cues there. It's going to keep you going straight up and down. The next movement is the hollow hold chest press. Lots of words, lots of movement. Okay. Oh, hey Mia, did I disturb your sleep? Sorry. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to be in a nice hollow hold position. So that means that our back is flat on the ground. I cannot put a hand through there. This would be a complete hollow hold, right? We want to be in this position. For the chest press, we're going to take a dumbbell or a plate And we're going to be in that hollow hold position. So our shoulders are off the ground, just our back is pressed flat into the ground, and we're going to push up with the weight. Modifications would be the hollow rock and just rocking back and forth, or you can keep your back flat on the ground and raise your feet and lift, and you can do whatever weight you feel comfortable with. The next movement is going to be our RDL. So it is a Romanian deadlift. So we just did an American deadlift. Now we're going to do a Romanian deadlift. So the weight on the bar essentially should be used for both if you're using the bar. So just keep that in mind. Now there are only 5 reps, so they can be a little bit heavier. But for the Romanian deadlift, we're going to start in the standing position with the barbell. And we're going to keep, and again, thumbs width away from the smooth part. We're going to pull the barbell up. We're going to make sure our back is nice and straight. We're going to pull our shoulders together, and we're going to slide the barbell down as far as we can, feeling that in our hamstrings there. Again, we want nice and flat. We're going to pull our butt back. And in this case, I'm pulling it back to the wall. I'm hinging at the hips. So that's like a big thing there, is you're hinging at the hips. You're bringing it back and down in a nice straight way, keeping that barbell touching you just like in the regular deadlift. So if you don't have, a barbell, you can use 1 or 2 dumbbells. So with 2 dumbbells, I'm going to show you sideways first. So you can slide down, and you see my butt is going back first, and I'm straight. I'm squeezing my shoulders together, and you just go as low as you can, feeling that hamstring tightness. If you're going to use 1, you can hold it like this. And again, just bringing it down, making sure you squeeze. Same thing with our kettlebell. Again, because you're gonna, when you use just 1 of those or the kettlebell, your arms are gonna want to come like in. So really kind of fight against that and try to bring those and squeeze those shoulders back and come down, as far as you can, squeezing, keeping that back flat. If you have a band, you can do kind of like a good morning here. So you can step in the band. My hair's in the way. Put the band over your shoulders, slight knee bend, and again, we're just gonna come down. And again, the same thing with the weight. Your knees are only going to be slightly bent. We're not bending the knee totally. We're never squatting. We are starting in the upright position. Loosen those knees. Bring those hips back. And this is as far as your knees should be bent at all times. So it's 4 rounds of all those movements. It's up to you now. So good luck.